This is a sunflower microgreen. I grow these in my basement all the time, and they're delicious. And these big beauties I grew from the same seeds that I grow my microgreens with. And they're starting to attract some pollinators. 2 bees in them already. He's coated with pollen. Look at this guy. He's coated with pollen and drunk on pollen right now. Hey friends, welcome to my garden. It's July and I'm really excited about this tour because my garden's getting huge. The only thing I'm worried about is it's super hot out right now. So let's check it out. So I'm gonna start the tour with some of my most recent additions here. These beds I added on and planted some strawberries in them. And these are going to be my dedicated strawberry patches going forward. Super excited getting my first strawberries of the year. These guys are ready to pick. I'm gonna let my daughter come out here and pick them later. Beautiful. We've been eating a lot of vegetables from the garden so far this year, but we haven't had any fruit at all so far. Coming around to the front gate entranceway of my garden, I added these beds and I made a video about how I made these beds. If you want to check it out, you can check out the link above. And I just decided to put some flowers in them from this year to make it kind of pretty and attract some more pollinators. And for now we just wanted to dress it up with some beautiful flowers. Maybe next year I might grow something edible out here, but this year we're doing a lot more with flowers and I'm enjoying it. It's really helping attract a variety of pollinators to the garden. All right, come on in. Talking about flowers, we gotta say these are our favorite flowers in the garden right now. These are zinnias and they are attracting so many pollinators, butterflies and bees, and they're just so beautiful. It's so much fun to look at. These are definitely going to be something we're going to grow going forward in the garden for years to come. So awesome, so colorful, and important to attract those pollinators because we need them to pollinate these tomatoes, the squash, the peppers, the peas, and the cucumbers, and all that good stuff. All right, let's do the full tour. Over here we have just some pots of basil, flowers, and some onions. And then we have our fig tree, Figaro. We moved him from the corner of our property where he wasn't getting a lot of sun, and we're growing him in a container for now until we figure out where we're gonna keep him long term. We're growing some tatsoi, bok choy, and red mustard right here. You know, this time of the year it's a little hot for these vegetables, but they're still growing. Same with the chard. We've been eating a lot of this, but the heat right now, it's taking its toll on some of these guys. But we're still getting some harvests and it's great. Kale is looking awesome. We're making a lot of kale salads right now. And there's a lot more that's ready to be harvested. Onto our broccoli, which we just started harvesting this week. This guy we didn't harvest yet, waiting for it to get a little bigger, but this guy right here, we just cut the crowns off of these guys right here, and hopefully the side shoots will start growing out some new broccoli for us. Now I almost stepped on my squash plant here. This is my Acorn Squash plant, which is getting huge. This thing I would say is about 15 feet long. The squash plant goes all the way from here and it just keeps going all the way to here. These are a mixture of acorn squash and butternut squash. These are some of my favorite flowers to look at in the garden. These guys right here, they're so big and beautiful. If you see right here, we have our first butternut squash. Looking good. This area of the garden right here used to be our sugar snap pea patch. We just ripped them up and we're going to replant a fall crop probably in a couple of weeks, but we got a lot of great sugar snap peas. They were awesome. Another sunflower growing right here. Right in front of the sugar snap peas was a different variety of peas. We also harvested a bunch of them and pulled them up as well. I'm gonna replant them in a couple of weeks. Our string beans are really starting to provide for us. We've been picking a lot of these and eating them with hummus. They're hard to find, you gotta dig deep. Here we go. You can see we got lots of green beans. A lot of these are ready to pick. Have a couple more sunflowers here that I started from microgreen seeds. These I actually transplanted because they're in the back of a garden and they weren't getting that much sun. And below them is a variety of flowers called sweet alyssum. Right here we have our carrots. They're still growing and almost as big as we want them to be, but they're still kind of thin. My little basil patch here. Some more radishes and some more sweet alyssum and a pepper plant. Right here, those zinnias that we love, right in the middle, attracting so many pollinators. Wanted to put them right next to my zucchini because the zucchini needs pollinators as much as possible. This year we've been having a lot of good luck with zucchini. They look so healthy, and I've harvested probably a half a dozen zucchini already. There's a nice big one right down here. That's ready to be harvested as well. Oh, and another little one right next to it. Great. 3 zucchini growing. 4 plants total. I recommend you plant like 3 to 4 plants of zucchini because you never know what's going to happen with them, and you want to increase your chances of having success. Planted a couple of Japanese eggplant varieties, and we're letting the sweet potatoes sort of just grow all around them right now. My sweet potato plants started out right here and they're just getting huge and going everywhere. It's getting to the point where I have to actually start cutting them back because they're getting so big. The eggplant is looking awesome. Got a little baby one growing right there. All right, moving on, we have some more acorn squash plants growing right here. Not exactly sure where I'm gonna send them to because they're gonna get huge like my other plant over there. My garden is completely getting out of control right now as far as the size goes. Oh, we got a pollinator up there in my sunflower, having some fun. Love to see it, love to see it. All right, this variety of flower back here is called salvia. It's been taking a little long to get going, but next year I might start them indoors a little sooner and let them get bigger before I plant them out. These are my pole beans right here, and they need to be harvested. I have tons of beans right now, and it's so awesome. July is the time of year for beans in the garden. It's getting a little out of control, and I'm just letting stuff sort of grow wherever it wants, some tying strings, and gonna have to do some pruning, but might not have needed to plant as many plants as I did, but it's all a learning experience for me. We'll maybe plant a little less plants next year since they grow so big. But still, so much fun and producing so much food. Another one of my favorite plants to grow are tomato plants, and they just get so massive, these varieties that I've been growing. Now, there's 2 types of tomato plants you can grow. Determinate varieties, which don't grow as high. They're a bush variety. And then there's the indeterminate varieties, which these are, which will keep growing as tall as you want to let them. And They're growing tall and they're growing a lot of tomatoes. They just need to start turning red for me. I'm starting to get some over here that are turning a little yellow, but I'm getting a little impatient. I see a lot of green tomatoes, not enough red ones. Definitely testing the strength of my trellising. All the weight from the tomatoes in these leaves, but it's just amazing to me how massive these plants are getting. We have two different varieties of cherry tomatoes growing. I have a variety of plum tomatoes growing here. They look so big and so awesome. And then back here I have the Determinate varieties, which aren't growing as tall. They're just gonna grow to about this height, set fruit and be done, where my indeterminate varieties over here, they're just gonna keep growing if I let them. At some point I'm probably gonna have to cut the tops off of them and stop them from growing. So awesome. Tomatoes are so much fun with all the pruning and all the extra attention you have to give them. Gonna be making a lot of sauce this year for sure, and giving a lot away to my neighbors, which I really enjoy, being able to provide food for my friends and family. This whole area of my garden is getting pretty overgrown. I was cutting back a lot of my cucumbers yesterday. Planted them a little closer than I probably should have, but it's fine. I mean, I'm getting so many cucumbers, probably given away 20 cucumbers so far, and I've been eating cucumbers every day with my family basically now. This is a variety I grew last year called Bad Alpha. Right here I have a larger variety of cucumber. It's called a burpless variety. You probably see these in the supermarkets. So awesome. This variety over here is called Little Leaf, and they're going to be a pickling, like Kirby variety. It's so funny to me. They look, they look like weapons, They're just like so spiky. Like I wouldn't want somebody to throw one of those things at me. They're dangerous, but it's nature's way of keeping the bugs off of them, which is pretty awesome. And then over here is a variety that I really like. They're called Diva, and so far they've been the most productive variety by far. And they're not as spiky, a little easier to eat. Nice mini size. Probably gotten 20 of this variety already so far, and a few each of the other varieties so far. But awesome, love rolling in the cucumbers. Enjoying it so much. We're enjoying this garden so much. Right here we have some onions. They're getting big, starting to bulb out. I got to cut back this mulch a little bit, this plastic mulch, to give them a little more room to grow some of these. Gonna work on that today. Awesome, I use a lot of onions in my cooking. Oh, don't want to forget the watermelons over here. I tried something different where I was trying to squeeze in as much stuff as possible in the garden this year, and I planted watermelons underneath my cucumbers. And yeah, they're taking up a lot of space. I might not do it this way next year, just because I feel like between the size of the cucumbers already, I could use the space for the cucumbers. I don't want to try to interplant my cucumbers with anything else, because they're getting hard to walk by. But yeah, awesome. The watermelons are getting big, and let them do their thing and see what they do. This year I'm growing a lot of new stuff, a lot of things that I've never grown before, so that's all an experiment for me. Plant it in some good soil and give it the love it needs and see what happens. I planted a little too much lettuce this year, and that's definitely something I'm going to change next year. Is I'm not going to plant as much lettuce. My Brussels sprouts over here are so fun. They got a little bit of pest damage, but we picked most of those worms off that were doing the damage, and I haven't really seen them come back. But I was always wondering, I'm like, why are the bees and wasps coming to my Brussels sprouts so often? And the funny thing is, the water pools here, and they come and they get a drink from it. I was like, they're not pollinating anything over here. Why do they keep visiting these plants? Well, because it's hot and they're thirsty. They need a drink. All right, coming over here, we have some more of those beautiful zinnias. I really love these flowers, and so do the pollinators. All right, next we have our celery patch and another beautiful sunflower. This row right here are my peppers. They're finally starting to get big. They're late bloomers. Starting to see some little baby peppers popping up here and there, but I'm not expecting to be eating peppers for at least another month. But at some point I'll be rolling in peppers, that's for sure. Right here, I'm trying to let some asparagus get established. So right now I'm not harvesting it, I'm just letting it grow and become like a bush. Then towards the end of the season I'll top it off and compost this. And I might actually have to do it again next year, but then after that I'll be harvesting it to eat probably for the next 10 years in this spot. And then we have our raspberries trying to get established here. They're having some issues. I've been finding beetles on them and they're damaging the leaves, and I have to pick them off. That's one of the things I don't really like about gardening, but you got to deal with, is you see a beetle eating your plants, you're gonna have to pick it off and you're gonna have to kill it or it's gonna come back. So it's unfortunate because I love nature and I don't like to have to kill, but some circumstances call for it. So yeah, having some issues with the raspberries, but they're still growing and we'll see what happens. I don't know if they're getting too much sun in this area, but time will tell and we'll see. Have some more asparagus down here, right next to the raspberries. And these three plants are blackberries, which I'm excited about. They're finally starting to take off. They were small for a little while, and now they're finally starting to pick up some speed. Wow guys, I hope you're impressed. You know, this is only my second year growing in this garden, and I'm learning so much and trying so many new things. And I want to encourage you to just try it. Put some seeds in the ground, see what happens, and you'll be surprised how easy it is to grow your own vegetables at home. If you like that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think about my garden in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and I love to answer your questions. It's really hot, starting to get sweaty. Gonna have to go inside and have a cold drink, and then maybe come back out here later when it's shady and do some harvesting. I got a lot of peas, I got a lot of cucumbers, got a lot of stuff to harvest, and it's so exciting. Look forward to posting some more videos about my garden and how I cook up some of these awesome vegetables. Have a great day. Stay healthy, friends.